I want to bring in Alan Dershowitz. Professor, walk me through what you've seen here on these campuses and what we are seeing in America. A lot of these young students that are part of these protests, they're getting their media off of social media. They're getting all of their news there. What can you say about just in terms of why we're continuing to see this happen? Are the facts getting across to these young people?
They're not, and part of the problem is with mainstream media that calls these protests pro-Palestinian. They're not. They're neo-Nazi, Ku Klux Klan attacks on Jews. They have nothing to do with Palestinians. Anybody who's pro-Palestinian should be anti-Hamas and anti-Hezbollah. They should be in favor of the Palestinians trying to get some kind of a two-state solution. There hasn't been a single protest on any campus calling for a two-state solution. Every protest calls for the end of Israel, the abolition of Israel. They support Nasrallah. Do you know what Nasrallah said before he was killed? He said he hoped that Israel will gather all the Jews of the world, all 15 million Jews all over the world, in one place so that Hezbollah could kill them all at once the way Hitler killed all the Jews of Europe. That's the person that these neo-Nazi Klansmen are supporting. There's no support for them. No support should be given to these people. University president shouldn't be doing it. President of the United States, Joe Biden, shouldn't have said that these people have good points. The man running for vice president, Waltz, shouldn't have said, well, they're well motivated. No, they're not. They are neo-Nazi Klansmen who should be treated exactly the way we would treat people who are calling for the lynching of blacks, the castration of gays, the murder of transgenders. This is exactly what these people are doing. They're calling for the end of the nation state of the Jewish people. Palestine will be free from the river to the sea means Palestine will be free of Jews. And how do you get free of Jews? The way the Nazis got free of Jews in Germany and in Poland and in Europe, by putting them in death camps and killing them. This is a call for genocide, and no university should tolerate this if they wouldn't tolerate calls for genocide against other groups. So we have to fight back. And we have to fight back against President Biden, who says that Israel shouldn't have the right to destroy Iran's nuclear reactor. Iran's nuclear policies are aimed at total genocide and destruction of the Jewish state. They've said that. They've said if they get a bomb, they will bomb Tel Aviv and kill 3 million Jews. That will be the end of Israel. Israel will then retaliate and kill 10 million Muslims, but the trade-off would be worth it. This is Rafsanjani, the liberal former president of Iran, who said that. So Israel can't tolerate a nuclear arsenal by Iran, and the president of the United States should not be calling for Israel to commit politicide, that is, political suicide.
And I mean, you saw former President Trump. He said, you know what, if we're going to go after, if Israel's going to continue their mission here to eliminate Hamas and prove a point, get rid of these terrorists, we're going to go after the nuclear facilities in Iran. Do you agree with that? Do you think that the Israelis should go and hit those targets, wipe it out so that that never becomes an issue, that Israel has to be worried about a nuclear bomb being thrown, as you mentioned, and kill 3 million people?
I am 100% behind President Trump's urging of Israel to go after the nuclear facilities first. Can Israel do it successfully? Can they destroy all the facilities? We don't know, but they can certainly attack some of the facilities. They can certainly set back the program a couple of years. Right now, Iran can reach Israel with ballistic missiles in 12 minutes. If they put nuclear tips on these ballistic missiles, it will cause millions of deaths. And any country, the United States would certainly not permit that to happen in Cuba, as they didn't, or other places in the world. And Israel shouldn't permit a nuclear-armed Iran to threaten it with nuclear-tipped ballistic missiles that could reach its cities in 12 minutes. So I hope Israel disregards what President Biden has said and listens to what former President Trump has said. On this issue, Trump is right, Biden is wrong.
And we look at that southern border. We know that millions of people have come across that southern border. We're seeing that there's going to be another pro-Palestinian protest happening here in New York City tomorrow. They're calling for it. I want to know, though, when does Iran, if they start to get back on their heels here because Israel continues to attack, when do they send some of these terrorists that are in the country? We know it. That's facts. ICE has said that we have terrorists in the country. When do they act here in America? And how concerned are we? And do you think that the Biden administration is concerned about this?
Everybody should be concerned. Tomorrow is a day that we should all be concerned about. There are efforts to try to have terrorist attacks, not only in the United States, but in London and Paris. And, in Paris, they would be accepted. The president of France has called for an arms embargo against Israel. He hasn't called for an arms embargo against Hezbollah or Hamas or Iran, but he's called for an arms embargo against Israel, which would disarm Israel and lead to further attacks. What we want to make sure is that Israel is never again subjected to the attacks of October 7th. But let's remember the attacks of October 8th. Before Israel even fired anything in response, Hezbollah attacked Israel. And so Israel was entitled to attack Hezbollah back. The goal is to destroy Hezbollah, to destroy Hamas, and to allow the Palestinians to live in peace. If they can have a state next to Israel, a peaceful state, one that doesn't attack Israel, let's negotiate about that. But right now, you can't have a second state if it's controlled by Iran, which it is controlled by, if they have leadership from Hamas or Hezbollah or the Houthis or Iraq. Just the other day, 2 Israeli soldiers were killed by rockets from Iraq. So Israel now has a 7-front war. You'd think that all Americans would support Israel. The vast majority do. The Democrats are out of step, and they're listening far too much to the Squad, to the AOCs, and to the Ilhan Omers who want to see Israel's destruction. The Democrats should be listening to typical Americans who support the underdog, who support Israel, who support Israel's right to defend itself exactly the way the United States would be defending itself and has defended itself under comparable circumstances. Let's remember, too, these are not pro-Palestinian people. These are anti-American people.
Yeah.
These are people who support Nasrallah, who killed 250 American Marines. That's who these people are marching for, Nasrallah and Hamas and Sinwar and the people who hate America.
This is the most important election probably in U.S. history as to who we put in leadership that's going to handle this situation going forward. Right now, we are watching this so closely. Professor Alan Dershowitz, I appreciate you coming on and bringing your expertise on this subject. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.